What if I told you that a simple-looking coin that you might have overlooked countless times in your pocket change could actually be worth millions, and that very coin is the 1995 USA 1-cent coin, which has been rumored and recorded in certain cases to have a face value reaching an astonishing $9 million. And when people first hear this, it almost sounds impossible that a coin meant to be worth only 1 cent could somehow climb to a value that could change a life overnight. Yet this is the reality of rare coins, error coins, and historical anomalies in the minting process that cause collectors from around the world to search obsessively for that one extraordinary piece. And the story of the 1995 penny is not just about the coin itself, but also about the mystery of how minting errors, variations in design, mistrikes, off-center stamps, doubling in the lettering, and even slight flaws invisible to the casual eye can turn an ordinary piece of copper-plated zinc into a treasure worth more than any luxury car, house, or lifetime of salaries. So when we dive into this tale of the 1995 1-cent coin, we start with the fact that the Denver Mint produced millions of these coins in 1995, making it a common year at first glance. But the fascination begins when you realize that hidden among those millions are a tiny handful that escaped quality control with errors so unique that they became legendary among collectors. And one of the most talked about errors of this coin involves doubling on the obverse side, where the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," or the word "liberty" appear slightly duplicated, making it a double die coin. And in the numismatic world, double die errors are among the most desirable and valuable because they are direct evidence of mistakes during the minting process where the die itself had a flawed impression. And some of these coins also exhibit off-center strikes where the design of Abraham Lincoln's portrait is misaligned, sometimes showing parts of the blank planchet, creating a rare visual anomaly that drives up the desirability, while others have die cracks, extra metal lines caused by worn dies, or repunched mint marks where the D mint mark was stamped more than once, leading to overlapping impressions. And each of these errors individually could make a coin worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, but when combined, or when the coin is preserved in high mint state condition with little to no circulation wear, the value skyrockets exponentially. And that is why the 1995 penny has achieved a legendary reputation, with collectors paying eye-watering sums at auctions, some even reaching into millions for the rarest specimens, because rarity, demand, and story are the three pillars of value in coin collecting, and the 1995 penny embodies all of them. A coin tied to the era of the mid-90s when the US Mint was transitioning in technology, a coin that reminds us that even with precision machinery, mistakes happen. And these mistakes are what fuel the dreams of everyday treasure hunters searching through jars of old pennies in the hope that one might be the jackpot. And when word spread of the $9 million valuation attached to certain 1995 pennies, the frenzy only grew stronger as more and more people realized that life-changing wealth could be hiding in plain sight, sparking waves of interest on social media, YouTube, coin forums, and even mainstream news, because nothing captures the imagination like the thought that a tiny copper-colored coin sitting forgotten in a drawer could buy a mansion, pay off debts, or create generational wealth. And so the legacy of the 1995 penny lives on as both a cautionary tale of how important it is to pay attention to small details, and as an inspiring story that keeps the hobby of coin collecting alive. And to fully grasp why this coin can be valued so high, you have to consider not just the physical errors but the psychology of collectors who are willing to outbid each other to own a piece of history. And every unique variation, from off-metal strikes where the coin was mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, to broad strikes without the protective rim, to clipped planchets with crescent-shaped edges missing, adds layers of intrigue to the 1995 story, each anomaly making the coin rarer and more desirable. And when combined with perfect preservation in MS 68 or higher grades certified by PCGS or NGC, the sky truly is the limit for auction prices, which is why stories of multi-million-dollar sales circulate widely, sparking renewed searches in every household. And this ongoing fascination is exactly why the 1995 penny has gone viral countless times, turning into a modern-day treasure hunt and showing us that history, mistakes, and scarcity all converge in the smallest details of the things we take for granted. And it all comes back to one powerful lesson: never underestimate the value of what you hold in your hands, because what seems ordinary may in fact be extraordinary. So if you ever stumble upon a 1995 penny, examine it carefully, look for doubling, look for off-center strikes, study the mint mark, check for unusual cracks, and most importantly, never dismiss it as just a cent, because hidden within its copper shell might be a fortune. And with that thrilling reminder of how a single cent could hold a $9 million secret, I invite you to keep the adventure alive by joining our community. So if you enjoyed this story and want to hear more incredible tales of coins that changed history and lives, Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for even more amazing discoveries. Next. Today we dive into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of coin collecting, the story of the 2011 1-cent coin that in some rare and extraordinary cases has been valued at a staggering $0.98 million, a sum almost impossible to imagine for a simple penny that most of us would overlook or toss into a drawer without a second thought. And yet this very coin has captured the attention of numismatists, collectors, and historians alike because of the remarkable errors, mistakes, and anomalies that have made it one of the most valuable coins in recent memory. And as we embark on this journey together, we'll uncover how a coin minted in such massive quantities, billions of 2011 pennies were produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, could somehow give rise to such scarce variations that their rarity transforms them into treasures worth nearly $1 million. So let's begin by setting the stage with the design itself, because the 2011 penny carried the Union Shield reverse design, first introduced in 2010 as part of the Lincoln Cent program, showing a shield with 13 vertical stripes and a horizontal banner inscribed with E pluribus unum, symbolizing the unity of the original states under one government, while the obverse continues the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. Yet within this seemingly ordinary and modern coinage lurked the possibility of errors that turned some into fortunes, and these errors, whether due to minting mishaps, planchet defects, or striking anomalies, have been categorized into fascinating groups that we'll explore in detail, because each type of error adds a unique layer of value and intrigue, starting with double dies, which are among the most sought-after mistakes in modern coinage, where during the hubbing process the die itself shifts slightly, creating a doubled image on the coin, and collectors go wild for strong doubling in the lettering such as Liberty, In God We Trust, or even the date, 2011, with some rare specimens showing dramatic spreads that are unmistakable even to the naked eye. And it's these double die pennies that can fetch astronomically high prices at auctions, often soaring into hundreds of thousands, and, when coupled with pristine mint state grades from services like PCGS or NGC, potentially touching the $0.98 million mark that we are discussing today. But double dies are not the only story here, because off-center strikes are another captivating error, where the coin blank, or planchet, is not properly seated in the press during striking, resulting in a design that is shifted dramatically, sometimes up to 70% off-center, leaving part of the coin blank and giving it a bizarre, incomplete look that collectors adore. And when such off-center strikes still clearly show the date and mint mark, their value skyrockets since authentication becomes easier. Now combine that with the 2011 penny's modern appeal and low denomination, and you have a recipe for stunning auction results. Then there are broad strike errors, caused when a coin is struck outside of the retaining collar, leading to a stretched, expanded appearance that looks unlike any ordinary cent. And yet these broad struck examples from 2011 can also command thousands of dollars, but the highest value coins are almost always the ones with the most dramatic or unique errors, such as a mule error, where the obverse of one coin type is mistakenly paired with the reverse of another. And while no confirmed 2011 mule cents have surfaced yet, the possibility lingers, and collectors speculate endlessly about whether such an elusive variety could exist hidden in someone's pocket change. And if discovered, it would certainly shatter records and justify the nearly $1 million price tag. But even without a mule, other fascinating errors exist, such as capped dies, where a coin sticks to a die and strikes subsequent planchets, creating ghost-like impressions, and distorted designs, or die cracks and cuds, where the die itself begins to fracture, leaving raised lines or missing chunks of design on the coin. And these small imperfections, especially when dramatic, draw collectors who love the idea of owning a piece of minting history gone wrong. And we must also mention transitional errors, which occur when a mint accidentally uses an old metal composition on a New Year's coin. And while by 2011 all pennies were supposed to be copper-plated zinc rather than the classic bronze of pre-1982, there remained speculation that a few stray bronze planchets could have slipped through, leading to 2011 cents that weigh 3.1 grams instead of 2.5 grams, and if authenticated, these transitional errors would be headline-making discoveries, easily pushing into 6- or 7-figure valuations, because the combination of rarity, error, and historical intrigue makes them irresistible. Now one might ask why these mistakes happen at all in a mint that prides itself on precision and technology, but the truth is that with billions of coins produced annually, the odds of a few mistakes are mathematically inevitable, and far from being worthless, these mistakes elevate ordinary coins into museum-worthy artifacts, and for collectors the thrill of the hunt is just as important as the value, because the idea that anyone could find a fortune in loose change is intoxicating. So imagine holding a penny that looks just a bit strange, with doubling on the motto or an off-center strike, and realizing that instead of being worth 1 cent it could change your life financially. That is the magic of error coins, and the 2011 cent has proven time and again that it belongs in this legendary category, with auction records showing incredible results for high-grade error varieties, and even the most common minor errors being snapped up quickly on collector marketplaces. And beyond the financial side, there is also the cultural story, because the Lincoln cent has been in circulation for more than a century, making it one of the most beloved coins in American history, and every new design or anomaly becomes part of that larger narrative, linking today's collectors with generations of those who came before. And so the 2011 penny stands as both a product of modern minting and a testament to the timeless allure of imperfection. Because perfection in coins is mass-produced and common, but imperfection creates individuality and treasure. And as we continue exploring this coin's journey, we find that the market's fascination is not only with the errors themselves but with the stories behind their discovery, like the lucky individual who spotted unusual doubling on their 2011 penny pulled straight from circulation and after professional grading learned it was worth tens of thousands, or the collector who bought a small lot of off-center pennies at a flea market only to find one dated 2011 that later fetched a fortune at auction. These tales fuel the ongoing frenzy and remind us that opportunity often hides in plain sight, tucked away in piggy banks, cash registers, or spare change, and that's why the 2011 cent costing $0.98 million in rare cases has become a symbol of possibility, a spark that keeps collectors searching day after day, coin roll after coin roll, driven by the hope that lightning might strike again. So as we reflect on this incredible story, it's important to remember that while not every 2011 penny is valuable, the very existence of these rare errors proves that even the smallest objects can hold unimaginable worth. And with that thought, we invite you to keep exploring with us, keep looking closely at your change, because you never know what might be hiding there, perhaps your own $1 million coin. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the mysteries of the 2011 1-cent coin and its astonishing $0.98 million valuation born out of mint errors, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and join us for more incredible stories from the fascinating world of rare coins and hidden treasures. Last, the 2018 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that has stunned collectors and experts because of its unexpected errors, striking mistakes, and anomalies that have elevated its value from a simple 1-cent face denomination to a jaw-dropping $3.7 million at auctions and in private sales, making it one of the most talked-about modern cents in U.S. history. And through this story we will go into every detail of what makes this coin so special, what types of minting errors can transform an ordinary coin into a prized collector's item, why the Denver Mint in 2018 was prone to some fascinating mistakes that slipped through quality control, how collectors hunt and authenticate such coins, and the possibilities that make the 2018 D penny so valuable in numismatic circles. Because to understand the enormous value tied to this coin, we need to appreciate how error coins come into existence and why rarity coupled with demand creates prices that seem unbelievable at first glance. So let's dive into the full background and intricacies of this coin story, because it is not just about one lucky cent but about the broader world of how small minting mistakes can change history. Beginning with the fact that the Denver Mint in 2018 struck hundreds of millions of pennies as part of its regular production run, and most of those pennies circulate today without any distinction or added value beyond the sentimental attachment or the copper-plated zinc composition they were made from, but a tiny fraction slipped through with anomalies that went undetected, such as double die obverse errors where Lincoln's image, date, or inscriptions appear doubled under magnification, off-center strikes where the die did not align properly with the blank planchet resulting in partial designs, die cracks that left raised lines across the coin's surface, or even clipped planchets where a portion of the coin's edge is missing creating a crescent-shaped flaw. And while each of these error types can on their own bring collectors interest and increased value, when multiple errors occur on a single coin or when the error is dramatic and visually striking, the desirability skyrockets. And that is exactly the case with the 2018 D cent that sold for millions, because reports indicate that the specimen possessed a combination of a double die obverse with an off-center strike along with noticeable die deterioration, making it a highly unique piece. And this uniqueness is crucial because collectors and numismatic investors are always seeking coins that are one of a kind or nearly so, which guarantees rarity and therefore high value. Now the story of error coins goes back centuries, since the U.S. Mint has been operating since 1792, and throughout history mechanical processes, human oversight, and quality control limitations have led to mistakes. But in modern times with advanced technology, one might assume that errors are impossible, yet even in 2018 with sophisticated minting equipment, the sheer volume of coins struck, billions every year, means that some mistakes still escape detection, and those rare survivors become treasures. For example, collectors remember the famous 1955 double-die Lincoln cent, which shows dramatic doubling on "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," and today commands tens of thousands of dollars, or the 1969 double-die cent, which has sold for hundreds of thousands. So when a new double-die cent surfaces, especially one tied to a more recent year like 2018, the excitement is tremendous because it suggests that even modern pocket change could hold secrets worth fortunes, and the 2018 D-Cent's $3.7 million valuation is driven not just by its physical errors but by the frenzy of competition among collectors who want to own the newest discovery, and demand plays as much a role in the final price as the error itself, with wealthy collectors bidding against each other, pushing the final hammer price higher than expected. Now let's explore the types of errors that could appear on a 2018 D penny in more depth, because understanding them gives insight into why the coin is valued so highly, starting with doubled dies, which occur when the hub imprints the coin design onto the die more than once but in slightly different positions, leading to doubled letters, numbers, or images on struck coins. And in 2018 some Lincoln cents showed doubling in Lincoln's eye, ear, or inscriptions, errors subtle to the naked eye but under magnification clear and compelling. Then there are off-center strikes, which occur when the planchet is not perfectly aligned within the collar during striking, resulting in part of the design missing, sometimes revealing a blank crescent of metal, and collectors prize dramatic off-centers of 50% or more that still show the date and mint mark, which ensures attribution. Another error is broad strikes, where a coin is struck without the collar holding it in place, leading to an expanded, flattened coin with distorted features, and these are less common but still valued. Then we have die cracks and cuds, which appear when the die itself develops breaks or chips, and those imperfections are transferred onto every coin struck afterward, creating raised irregular lines or blobs of metal. And while minor die cracks are common, major cuds that obscure parts of the design are much rarer and bring premium prices. In 2018 Denver produced cents with some notable die cracks, especially around Lincoln's head and the rim. Adding intrigue, another error possibility is misaligned dies, where the obverse and reverse are not correctly oriented, leading to designs that are rotated or shifted, and even more unusual are mule errors, where the obverse of one coin type is accidentally paired with the reverse of another. Though extremely rare in modern sense, the possibility excites collectors, and all these errors show that the 2018 D penny had many avenues for uniqueness, and in the case of the $3.7 million coin it combined several of these into one piece, making it extraordinarily rare. Now let's talk about the Denver Mint itself in 2018, which struck billions of coins across denominations and has historically been known for both high output and occasional error production, and collectors know that D-Mint coins sometimes yield interesting varieties. So the discovery of an extraordinary penny was not entirely surprising, though the magnitude of its value was, because usually modern error cents might bring hundreds or thousands at most, but for one to reach millions requires not only the physical rarity but also timing, market hype, publicity, and competitive bidding that elevate its status into the numismatic spotlight. And that is exactly what happened. As news spread of the coin's discovery, collectors speculated, media reported, and anticipation grew, leading to a record-breaking sale. But beyond this single coin, the story inspires everyday people to check their pocket change, to look closely at coins they take for granted, because it suggests that even a simple penny from 2018 could hold the potential of life-changing wealth. And stories like this fuel the modern treasure-hunting spirit, leading people to research errors by magnifying tools and scour rolls of pennies from banks, hoping to uncover a hidden gem. And indeed, many hobbyists have discovered valuable coins in circulation, though few ever reach the multi-million-dollar tier. But the dream is what drives the community, and dreams need examples like the 2018 D-Cent to keep them alive. So when analyzing why this penny reached $3.7 million, we must consider not only the physical coin itself but the broader cultural fascination with rarity, the psychology of collecting, and the economics of supply and demand, because collectors with deep pockets often view coins not just as curiosities but as investments, as tangible pieces of history and art, and owning the only known 2018 D-Cent with such dramatic errors means holding a unique treasure no one else can claim, and uniqueness translates to value. Just like in art, where a single Picasso can command hundreds of millions, a one-of-a-kind penny can too, even if its face value is just 1 cent. And that paradox, something designed to be worth next to nothing transforming into a multi-million-dollar object, creates the magic of numismatics. Now imagine the possibilities if more such coins are discovered. because numismatists believe that while only a few specimens might exist today, others could still be hiding in rolls, jars, or bank bags waiting for discovery, which means opportunities remain for sharp-eyed collectors to find their fortune, and this possibility keeps interest high. So while we celebrate the $3.7 million coin, we also recognize the potential for future finds, and that makes the hobby endlessly exciting. So to everyone listening and watching, remember that the world of coins is filled with mysteries, from minting errors to historical designs, and each coin you touch might hold a hidden story. So take a second look at your 2018 pennies, especially those marked with AD for Denver, and pay close attention to doubling, off-center strikes, cracks, and anything unusual, because you never know if you could be holding the next multimillion-dollar treasure. And with that, we invite you to continue exploring these fascinating stories with us, learning more about coins, history, and the hidden wealth in everyday change. And if you enjoyed this journey into the world of the 2018 D penny worth $3.7 million, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for even more incredible tales of coins that made history and changed lives forever.